Hey loves, how you're doing? So you're probably seeing this and wondering what a goat head is doing in your face.
Well, we're going to be making Isiewu. It's a special delicacy from Eastern Nigeria. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this from the comfort of your home. So let's get down to it. So for this, you're going to be needing a full goat head. You can get this goat head at any market near you. And then you can either choose to cut it at home, which I'll strongly advise against, because as I was cutting this, I had to bring back the goat head for content's sake. And then I broke my most precious knife. You can imagine how bad that feels. So guys, maybe just let them cut it up for you at the market, and then you know that they will have more experience cutting this. But I did all this myself, and I can tell you that it took me more than an hour to get this whole thing cut up and deboned. So you can see here that I have like an extra chunk of meat that's not part of the original goat head I'm going to be using for this as well, just to give it some more extra meatiness. So I'm just going to go ahead and debone this and then wash it properly. You can choose to debone then wash, or wash and debone, but I had it washed up to remove the blood, and then I went ahead and deboned it, and then I washed it again before transferring it into the fire. So now that we're done deboning and washing, you just want to set this on fire, and then you have to properly season this. Also know that you're free to use any part of the meat of your choice, and then take out any part that you don't like. So I'm just going to go ahead and season this generously, as the seasoning is very important in this process. Careful not to overdo this. Just ensure you're seasoning the whole meat with the right amount of seasoning. So I'm just going to be adding in some Cameroon pepper. I'm adding in the pepper now that the meat is about to start boiling, because I want the pepper infused into the meat. You just want to go in with some salt, and then you don't have to add water to this. You're just going to cover it and then let it get out the water from within the meat. So after a few minutes, I'm going to add in the brain. I'm putting this brain in a foil, in an aluminium foil paper, and then I'm just going to throw it into the pot. You have to let this cook separately, because it's going to be an important part of the recipe later on. So now you can see that this meat is almost dry. You have to make sure, you want to really make sure that all the water goes back into the meat. It's not like where you're trying to extract stock. So I'm just going to take out that cooked brain and then let this water dry up nicely. So after that, you can see what we have. Our meat is looking all yummy and juicy, and then it's time to cut it up. Look how nicely the meat is coming off of the bone. So I'm just going to carefully cut this up away from the camera, and then come back when I'm done. So this is the meat after I finished chopping it off into thin biteable sizes. So I'm just going to keep that aside. I'm going to be preparing my pepper mix, that's pepper and onion, and then I'm going to be pounding my brain in the mortar. See that I train one pepper into this brain, and then I'm just going to take that out and then prepare for the next step. So for this next step, we're going to pour in some oil, and then I'm just going to give that a good mix. Now this is what we call potash. You can get it from either different sources, natural sources. This particular one is called ungo, and it's from palm trees, and it serves for the emulsification of the oil into a smoother pasty consistency. So I'm just going to give this a good thorough mix, and you can see that the oil is having a thicker consistency now. Next thing I'm going to be adding is my ogiri. This is fermented low-cost beans. You can get it from any market as well. So I'm just going to be throwing in one seasoning cube to this as well. I'm going to be going in with some ground crayfish. You're basically just adding in your ingredients to taste, and then mixing at this point. Next thing I've added is my pepper mix. I'm just going to give this a good thorough mix, and then I'm going to add in the goat's brain rather. So now after this whole mixture is to my taste, I'm going to be adding in the chunks of goat's meat, and then this is almost the final step. At this point, you just want to incorporate everything until it's all mixed together. I'm doing this in bits so I can properly incorporate it all together. If you want this not too thick like mine, you can reduce the amount of oil and then add more potash when you're making your mix. At this point, you can choose to add in your Ugba, which is African oil bean, but I decided to skip this at this point because the person I was making this for does not like Ugba so much. So I'm going to be adding the Ugba in the next plate. I'm just going to be using it to garnish the next plate instead. So at this point, if you follow the recipe properly and judiciously, you should be so proud of yourself, because you've just made a whole savory, tantalizing dish of meat and some yummy sauce, and it's called Nkwobi, but this particular one is Isiewu Nkwobi. So this is the second plate. I'm just going to garnish it with the Ugba and then I'll mix it up later. Now, what better way to complement this premium local dish than to wash it down with a chilled fresh gourd of palm wine? Would you be trying this? Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions and I'll be here to answer them all. Now, if you enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you on the next one. Bye.